Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Hyperconscious Podcast. Alan, what is hyperconscious?
Once you understand why something is the way that it is, now you have the power to change it. Great conversations with great people and great questions are the keys to the kingdom of unlocking your consciousness.
Every single action that you do starts as a thought. When you control the way you think, you will control the way you act, and you will control the way you live. That is hyperconscious. Geographically? Geographically. This is cool. So I would say make sure that pretty face is showing.
Yes, true.
They're going to want to see that thing. They're going to want to see that thing, Alan. That face. You good? Ready? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another very special, as always, episode of the Hyperconscious Podcast. We hope you enjoyed our latest episode where Alan and I were lucky enough to sit down with Mr. Chad Robichaux. I know in the previous rep, Limiting Beliefs, we said that we were going to be sitting down with Regan Hillier, but she had to reschedule, so we're rescheduling that now. It's a whole thing. But we hope you enjoyed Chad's episode. He is next level, and we were blown away by his story. Today, we are going to do a very special Small Talks episode on the word intention. I know we have talked about intentions and setting them in the past, but as with gratitude and other things, it's practice.
Yeah.
All these things are practice. And we actually just got off a podcast with Tori Aletto. That'll be dropping in a couple weeks.
Unbelievable episode.
Yeah, but one of the things she said was priorities take the place of other priorities. And I feel like no matter what, something drops off.
Yeah.
And for me, at times, it has been setting intentions, or it's been journaling, or it's been positive affirmations. So this is going to be used as a reminder that maybe you haven't been setting intentions lately, and we're going to hopefully spark your interest and get that habit growing again.
I consider intentions one of the core fundamentals. As a matter of fact, we were on a call with Joyce because we're doing an upcoming
Shout out to
event.
Joyce.
Shout out to you, Joyce Strong. We're doing an upcoming speaking event at the Confident Women's Consortium in July.
Yes, end of July.
If only I could pronounce that.
Right.
So
Good
I'm
thing
gonna
you're
have
not
to,
speaking. There.
Yeah, right. But we were on a call, and I was actually on the bathroom at the beginning of the call. On the bathroom, in the bathroom at the beginning of the call, and I heard Kevin say, "Let's set an intention. Like, what's your intention for this call?" So I told him, honestly, we used to do that all the time before podcasts, before mastermind calls, before coaching calls, and we want to start doing that more. So I pulled up the definition of intention here, and there's two that are super relevant. Number one, an act or instance of determining mentally upon some action or result. Number two, the end or object intended / the purpose. So why am I doing what I'm doing? What is the outcome that I want to produce?
I think, again, I've said it before, but a lot of people live by accident. And if you live by accident, you're going to end up where you end up. And setting intentions, it's not as simple as, okay, you set an intention and it happens. No, that's not how it works. You would set the intention, say you and I, we set the intention to get a new studio.
Right.
Okay? What does that mean? Well, that means we have to be smarter with our finances. That means when I see an advertisement for office space, instead of just saying, that doesn't mean anything to me. Well, since the intention is set, now that is in line with something that I want. So I'm far more likely to notice it and follow through on it. So I think that it's kind of like when I go to bed and I journal, which I've just started doing again. I haven't been doing it. I've been slacking on that. But when I'm writing down the things that I'm visualizing in the future, a lot of those are intentions for me. I wrote down for months that I had a very successful relationship with a beautiful woman who I care deeply about. I didn't have it at the time.
I know.
But I was setting the intention to say, okay, look, if that comes into your life, if you see that opportunity, if you find somebody that piques your interest, you're ready now. And that happened. Now, is it because I wrote it down? No. That's not the only reason. I think it helps because now I'm focused on it. Now I'm going to see things that I normally wouldn't. I'm going to take chances that I may not normally have taken.
Right.
So, yeah, going off here.
For anyone out there, the thing is everything starts with an intention, whether it's conscious or not. And so one of our primary goals in this podcast is to become aware of our intentions. And so one of the things that I wanted to mention is the reticular activating system. So to bring this down to earth real quick, and you've all probably heard of this before on this podcast or otherwise, but like every time you buy a new car, so I just got a new car.
Yes.
It's a Subaru Legacy.
Yeah, repping the Subaru family.
Right? Subaru.
Not as fast as mine, but it's all right. It's all right.
Everybody Subaru, a Subaru.
Yeah. What makes a Subaru a Subaru?
There you go.
Yeah.
And it's Subaru Legacy, one of my favorite words, legacy. But anyways, so I see that car. I see Subarus everywhere now.
Oh, yeah, man.
Why? Because my mind knows that that's relevant. So when you set an intention, so for example, you and I set an intention to do more speaking.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden, picture a dark room with a flashlight. Your subconscious mind is able to see everything in that dark room, not literally, figuratively, and the flashlight is your conscious mind. Now, before I owned a Subaru, they were always everywhere, but now I pick up on them. In other words, my conscious mind, the flashlight gets shows you what it thinks is relevant. So whenever you set an intention in advance, then opportunities are going to be presented to you that normally wouldn't have been because they weren't on your radar, so to speak. But the most important part is now you have to act on them.
And the beautiful thing is it almost... Okay, so let's just say that I set the intention, and again, I've been writing this in my journal when I started writing again because I have been screwing off.
Right.
I wrote down first speech this year.
Right.
Now, again, because I wrote it down, did it pop up and become a reality? No, but what that did was it made me say, I'm going to do this. So I already, in my mind, wanted to do it. So now, instead of just a speech... Okay, cool. Like, we're going to offer you a speech. No, I'll pass. I'm not ready for a speech. I don't do speeches. No. Now it's, I have to take this because I set the intention.
Exactly.
This is my opportunity to do what I said I was going to do. Yep. And also, I really love these episodes because things come up. I think that when you're communicating with somebody, how many times have you been communicating with somebody and you said, well, I didn't hurt them intentionally. I didn't hurt them on purpose. What I said was... this. I meant to say something else. Sometimes your intentions are pure, but your ability to get that across is not there.
Well, because it's intention versus skill. So you mentioned a conversation with your girlfriend where you said something that was unintentionally taken the wrong way.
Yes.
And your intention was not to hurt her or to say something wrong, but you did anyway.
Yes.
So communication is a skill. All of us have... not all of us, but I think most of us have pure intentions to be a positive influence in other people's lives, but your ability to do that is going to be predicated on a bunch of different skills. Your ability to understand the other person, understand what they want more of, your ability to communicate effectively in the way that they feel and actually hear you, in terms of, the PMES system, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. So setting pure intentions is the first step. Like having a vision for your future is the first step. I intend to be the greatest natural aesthetic men's physique athlete on the planet. Now, because I have that intention, all of a sudden, I'll give you an example. Before I set that intention, that dream, that vision, I never met Nate Smithson. Nate Smithson is my fitness coach. He since lives in California with his girlfriend, Frances. Shout out to you two both. But
shout out.
He lived 3 minutes away from me in Uxbridge for my entire upbringing. All of a sudden, once I intended to be a fitness athlete, all of a sudden, Nate is now on my radar. Why? This is how the law of attraction really works. When you set an intention to be wealthy, influential, to a dream, as soon as that intention is set, you're going to notice things that you wouldn't have noticed otherwise because, for example, let's say your intention to go out to the bar is to meet someone who you find attractive. If that was your intention, you're going to be more aware of people who you find attractive, and you're going to notice them from across the room. Now, once you notice them and you have the genuine desire to go talk to them, it's up to you to have the courage to actually take the action. So I had to go up to Nate and meet him. And if I hadn't met Nate, there's no chance I would be where I am. I would be the fitness coach that I am with all the clients that I have. Like, he's taught me such a large portion of everything I know. Another example, I set the intention to be a speaker. You set the intention to be a podcaster. Kevin and I coming together is mutually beneficial because of our intentions, our visions, our dreams.
It allows you to create not only a goal, but a specific goal. If you and I, let's just say, dude, we're using so many examples, I love it. We go out and we say, find a circular rock. Our intention for the day is to find a circular rock.
Right.
Every day those rocks are there. We walk right over them. We step over them. They don't matter because they're not in our focus.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, when it comes to you
fire.
getting better as a person, I appreciate that. When it comes to you getting better as a person, in whatever better means to you,
Right.
to become the best version of yourself, you have to set some intentions. You have to set some intentions. What is your intention? Is it to communicate better with a spouse?
Right.
Guess what? Now when something happens, and even though it's uncomfortable, you have set the intention to be a better communicator. It's time for you to do what you said you were going to do. And when you get the opportunity to do so, you should be excited because now you get to practice that intention. That's something Alan and I have been saying. I was so excited to get in a relationship because I could practice my communication that I've been working on for so long now.
Yeah.
I was genuinely excited for it. So now when the opportunity presents itself, it's not easy. I won't say it's easy. And like I said, I didn't misspeak. I did not communicate as effectively as I could have, and I definitely regret that. And she knows that, and we've spoken about it. But I think that your intentions matter as long as you follow through on them. Have you ever met a woman's father and she says, "What are your intentions with my daughter?" I don't know if people actually say that, but I see it in the movies all the time. What are they saying? They're saying, "What are you intending to do with my daughter? Like, do you have positive intentions? Are you a terrible person who's going to break her heart?" Like, that's what it means.
Yeah.
What are your goals here? What are you planning to accomplish here? That's what intentions are. Live intentionally and not by accident. You have 1 minute.
I have 1 minute.
Yeah.
My goodness.
It goes by, man.
So I wanted to hammer a few questions at
Oh,
Kevin
for
here.
Goodness
Because
sake.
I like that we've been doing that a lot lately on
Go
these
on,
episodes.
go
So
on,
let's-
make this
let's
about
see
me.
let's see if he can handle it.
Go on.
So, what do you believe is the simplest definition of intention so that people can start actually using it to positively impact their life?
Oh my goodness. I think it is a specific outcome that you are willing to follow through on.
Right.
Because a lot of people have audacious goals of this, that, or the other thing, and something will come along and they won't take advantage of it.
We talked about this. You said a wish versus an intention. We did a behind the scenes episode in Florida on that.
Yeah.
It's interesting because we were just on the mics with Tori, and we said we intend to come to New York to make a round 2 happen
Right.
in person.
Right.
It's not a wish. It's like this will happen eventually. We will make this happen eventually.
Great example.
Right.
We set the intention to meet Dave Meltzer in person.
Right.
Then we went to New Jersey just to support him
Yep.
and maybe get some FaceTime with him, but we wanted to support him. We were lucky enough to talk to him for 2 hours, and then we set the intention to podcast with him in person. So it went from Dave doing a speech in Boston to us saying, Dave is going to be in Boston. We need to podcast with him. That's what an intention is. It allows you to focus in on the details and realize this is how I make this
Happen.
reality.
Right.
Yeah, 100%.
So the intention has to be first.
It has to be.
It has
Because
to
if
be.
not, it's just everything else is just circumstance.
Okay, what's an example of an intention you set in your life that you know without which something you now enjoy wouldn't be real?
The podcast.
Right.
How did I start podcasting? You and Andrew Copeland had a podcast, and we spoke about doing it together.
Yep.
Somewhere within me, because I was watching Joe Rogan, I knew I wanted to be a podcaster. In order for me to, and I was afraid too.
Right.
But in order to match with that intention that I had set, number one, I had to get out of my comfort zone. Number two, I had to kick you in the ass and say, "Yo, are we gonna do this thing or what?"
Yeah, I'm meeting you at 2 p.m.
Right.
tomorrow at Copeland's
Right. None
father's
of this
house.
would have happened if I did not set the intention.
Isn't it
to be
crazy
a
how
podcaster.
none of this would be real if you didn't do that?
It is crazy. It is crazy. But I think, man, that's the beauty of what we're doing and the fact that, like, I love bringing the listeners along with us because in 10 years, you guys that are listening to us, because we're not stopping. This is not negotiable.
Oh,
we
yeah.
actually have a little special announcement here coming in a couple minutes. But, in 10 years, we'll all be looking back and saying, like, imagine if you guys didn't do that first episode.
Right.
Imagine if you guys didn't add scratching the surface in. Imagine if you didn't add in small talks. Like, that's the beauty of it, man. I love it. I love getting messages from people who have been following us, or they go back and listen to the early episodes. They're so brutal. I'm sorry.
We just did it right
yeah,
before this.
Yeah, I swore a lot more than I do now, and I apologize for
Ah,
that.
shit.
Especially if you have children, I apologize for that. But we're learning and we're growing and evolving, and I'm so grateful that we have people that are that are growing and evolving and with us along the journey. I'm so grateful, man. I'm so grateful. And none of that would have happened if I didn't set that intention. So an intention will change your life if you follow through.
Okay, what's one intention that you believe will benefit the listeners to set right now?
Oh my goodness. I would say set the intention to be a better version of yourself. Not even be the best version of yourself. And only you know what that means. A better version of me at one point, and we're going to talk about this in the next episode, was to do more learning. Because I didn't feel like I was doing enough learning. And now I do learning. Now I learn every single day.
Done learning.
Every single day I learn.
Right.
Why? Because I set the intention. And I realized if I don't learn, I'm not going to be able to be a good podcaster. I'm not going to be able to be a good coach. I'm not going to be able to, give great speeches. I'm not going to be able to be the person I want to be. And that is what a better version of me is. A better version of me is somebody who is more capable in this space, in front of this microphone, on a stage, interviewing a guest, on a coaching call, whatever it is.
One more thing I want to say, too. This came to me when Kevin was talking right there. I've been being coached, fortunately, by Dave Meltzer lately.
Shout out
which,
to
again,
Dave.
is funny. I set that intention. Remember when I said I want Dave to be my mentor?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay, so that has happened. That's so cool. So he started, basically, I'm trying to learn as much as I can from him, and then I'm bringing to my clients some of the things that he's doing with me. One of them in particular is I've been asking my clients this question, and I want to ask the listeners this because these are intentions, really. My question is, what is one thing that you can start doing every day that will drastically change the trajectory of your life? That's the first question. The second question, and I think this one's even more important, what's one small thing you can stop doing that will drastically change the trajectory of your life? Both of those answers that you come up with are going to be intentions. So one thing for me personally, you just mentioned an intention you had, is to be more of an essentialist. What I mean by that is to focus more on the important few things that really matter and to try to eliminate the more trivial things. So that's one intention that I've set. That one intention will change the trajectory of my life forever. So if you're out there right now, we all need to set more hyper-conscious intentions, I believe. From now on our calls, I think it's important before each of these episodes, set an intention because it'll keep you on track. It'll keep you focused on things that will get you closer to the outcomes you want.
I do that on my coaching calls. I start with the intention I've set for this call is to do this. Yeah, I always do that. I don't know. I think that's a subconscious thing for me. I need to know why I'm doing what I'm doing.
Right.
And if I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. That's a thing for me. Ladies and gentlemen, we hope you enjoyed this Small Talks episode as much as we enjoyed recording it. We went off and we were over on time, per the usual. Up next, we are doing a Scratching the Surface episode on fitting in versus standing out. I think this is going to be a fire one because especially nowadays where there is a lot of judgment, where social media is very prominent, where a lot of people are afraid to kind of go against the current. Alan and myself are definitely going against the current, but we're enjoying it because it's leading us to a better life. And I think that if you really want something that's different than others, I think you should attack it. And maybe you will face judgment for it. Most likely you will.
You will.
But you're going to get judged no matter what. So you might as well get judged for doing something you love.
Right. So I made the mistake of not plugging the mailing list, so I'm not doing my job. I apologize. So if you are out there right now, go to the hyperconsciouspodcast.com, click on join, #hyperconsciousnation.
Yes.
Folks, these morning minutes are going to help you stay on track, help you set more pure intentions, and help you get more outcomes consistently and sustainably that you want in your own life. The last thing I want to say to plug the next Scratching the Surface episode, Fitting In versus Standing Out, Mark Twain says this. This is actually in Nate Smithson's bio.
Okay.
This is something that I go back to a lot, which is anytime you find yourself on the side of the majority, it is time to pause and reflect.
Ah, okay. Yeah, that's powerful.
If you're out there right now, you are unique, and as you grow, that uniqueness will grow, and then you will stand out rather than fit in, which is exactly what we want for you.
Yes, 100%. And just to touch on #join Hyperconscious Nation, who would you rather see first thing in the morning besides our two smiling faces? And as promised, very special announcement, we have decided, which is a very powerful thing
We've
to say.
set the intention.
We have set the intention to have a fourth episode every week. So now we are going to be doing Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. So if you're listening to this on Wednesday, next Monday we will have a new episode. What we are going to be doing, it is going to be called the 5-Minute Clinic. So Alan and I are each going to go, we're going to pick a lesson that we have learned that has shaped us into the people that we are today. And these are going to be important lessons, fundamental lessons that we live by every single day, the ones that have really, really, really made the biggest shifts for us. We're going to do it in 5 minutes. We're going to really, really, really try to keep to that 5 minutes, just because we want to, keep adding value to you guys, and we want to keep hanging out with you guys. So
Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. 5-minute
Yeah.
clinic.
Yeah, and the first one is going to be on why power.
Fundamental.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will talk to you on Friday.
Talk to you soon.
Bye. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much for listening to another episode of the Hyper Conscious Podcast.
Going hyper-conscious will absolutely change your life, because if you understand why something is the way it is, now you have the power to change it. If you going hyper-conscious with us has changed your life in any way, please share this episode with one of your friends, because the more people that go hyper-conscious, the better this world's going to be for everybody.
And if you would kindly leave us a 5-star review on iTunes, that would help us make more people hyper-conscious, and we would be greatly appreciative.
Thank you.
Bye.